Good evening. As Minister for Magic, it gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to Atmosphere Spirituality. So, hi guys, Namaskara, Namaste. This is Arsonist Fire here on Atmosphere doing our part 2 live stream on how to summon spirits. So, today I am going to show you the exact method that I use to summon spirits, and I've also prepared some notes for you so that we can be able to work easily, having not to waste time basically. So let me page fast so that I can help you fast. uh This is what I was looking for. So part 2, I'm going to show you how to follow to establish contact with spirits, and I'm also going to show you how to work with spirits from different pantheons. So the first method of summoning spirits is called evocation. Now there's traditional evocation, which is taught by the Golden Dawn, or the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. It has magical tools that you have to implement, such as the dagger, the chalice, and the pentacle. So we are not going to use those for our ritual of summoning spirits. So our ritual is more simplistic, and it follows the approach of chaos magic. I actually learned this technique from a book by the Gallery of Magic, which was written by Adam Blackthorne. Its name is Chaos Magic, Master Works of Chaos, something like that. I'll upload the link when I'm done in the description. So, yes, what will we need to summon spirits? Whether any tradition we want to follow, there's certain steps, there's certain things that you need to have to establish contact and summon spirits. So, the first thing that you need is a sigil. What is a sigil? A sigil is a spirit signature, or a spirit way of communication. What do you use it for? You use it to use it as a focus point or a focal point to base your magical work upon. Let's say maybe you want to summon a spirit. You have to focus on something that's connected to the spirit, or it cannot be connected like truthfully, or what do you call it? Like, it shouldn't be connected in a specific, correct, truthful way. You can just think of a symbol and make and use it as a focal point for any spirit that you want to summon. Why do I say so? There's a sigil generator. There's different methods. You can either use the magical square, or you can use the rosy cross, which is a Hebraic rose that's inscripted with Hebraic words, and you use those words basically to craft a sigil for a spirit. So, in most cases, when you use a magical square and that rose, it gives you different shapes of that sigil, and you can use both of them and still establish contact. That's why I say it is possible to think of a symbol out of your mind and actually establish contact with a spirit. So, what will you need? A sigil. You need incense. You need candles. You need a banner. And then you need your offerings. Let me tell you what we will use these things for. A sigil, as I've mentioned, we use it to establish contact, and we use it as a focal point for the ritual framework. Incense. What do we use incense for? There's a certain name that they use for that thing. They call it plasma what, but it's basically similar to smoke. What does smoke do? It connects you to the spiritual realm. You can easily establish contact with the spiritual realm using smoke. Meaning, when you gaze into smoke, there's a certain what do you call it? A certain thing that happens in your eyes that makes you connect easily to the spiritual realm. So that's what they use it for, incense. And then you have candles. Candles, what do you use candles for? There's different candles for different purposes. Obviously, for the ritual that you want to do, the candle has to be corresponding to the ritual framework. The candle color has to be corresponding to it. Let's say maybe you want to do a ritual for love. You basically use the color candle that's most attributed for love, which is in most cases red. So it's for using for establishing that connection. It's also for making the ambience. As you can see in my background, I look like a Satanist because of the candle. So it focuses your mind on the ritual and it makes you feel like you're actually doing some spiritual work. There's also a science behind the fire thing. The fire is one of the elements, and the fire, Lord Agni, is the one that we use to carry forth our offerings to the gods. He is our messenger, the fire. So it also puts you in a state of mind of alpha, whereby you are receptive to spiritual messages and you're also in a state whereby you can perform rituals easily. You are basically in a ritual state of mind. So you also need a banner. What do you use a banner for? Use a banner to burn offerings. I like to burn offerings. Why? Because I just said that fire is the one that carries forth our offerings to the gods. Why it carries forth our offerings to the gods. And then we also have the last ritual tool that we need, which are what? Offerings. What do we use offerings for? Whenever you perform a ritual, you have an intent. You are actually projecting a thought out into the universe. So the universe usually listens to those who have a strong thought, thought form, or basically strong will. Those who are strong willed are easily listened to by the universe because their thought force is so powerful that it makes changes in the universe. Okay, this is bothering me now. Okay, I've dealt with it. You send powerful thought waves into the universe to create a change. So whenever you pair your thought with the offering, it has to be. I use something that's dear to me. I also use something that's high vibrational and something that's preferred by the spirit. Why is it preferred by the spirit? Due to the vibration of the offering, due to the energy it carries, the prana that it carries. So when you pair your thought with the ritual, with the intent, with the offering, it strengthens your thought form and it strengthens your thought power. When you send it out into the universe, it definitely makes a change. It's not about the spirit obeying you or the spirit seeing you as somebody favorable so that it can help you manifest results. No, it's all about making your thought strong so that when it goes into the universe, it actually creates a change. So now I've just explained what you need and the tools that you and how to use. Why do we use the tools that we use in rituals for summoning spirits? So now let me salute once fast. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Agnidevaya Namaha. So now let's go into the method of summoning. Each and every ritual, you have steps that you have to follow when summoning spirits. I don't know if I should do this, but this I got from the book by Adam Blackthorn, Mastering the Works of Chaos Magic. I think that's the name of the book. So there's certain steps that you need to follow. A ritual format of working with spirits has 7 steps basically, which is step 1, finding a place where you will perform the ritual. Step 2, it's where you confess your sins, where you acknowledge yourself, your shortcomings, where you basically go into yourself and notice the darkness within you. Step 3 is where you find your power. After confessing and going deep within the darkness, you actually find your power. You find your power how? By knowing your role into the universe, in this universe. What is knowing your role in the universe? It's this mental framework basically. The universe has to manifest what I desire because I command the universe. That's basically a mental framework that you have to establish by finding your power in step 3. And then step 4, it's where you use a word of power. What's a word of power? Let's say maybe you come from a Christianity background, which most of us come from. You find that word of power that you resonate with, a word which you see as powerful, and then you use it as the power to command the spirit to listen to you and come to you. So after using that word of power, I'll actually do king first for you. Using that word of power, after using it, you look at the spirit sigil. While staring at the spirit sigil, you establish contact with the spirit. You're actually saying what you want to the spirit mentally, establishing that connection. You can either use the prayer method. I'll demonstrate everything to you now shortly. Step 4 is where you call out the spirit until you sense the presence. Step 5, you tell your spirit what you tell the spirit what you want, and you have to start the sentence with the spirit's name. Like let's say maybe you want to summon me, I'm a spirit. You say Arsonist come. And then when I have arrived, Arsonist fire, I need you to do this for me, or I command you to do this for me. You start the sentence with my name, and then you should try to feel emotions of of okay, that's advanced. You call the spirit, you tell it what you want, and then you thank the spirit as if they've given you what you desire, they've manifested your result, and then you offer them that offering that you want to give, and then you finish the ritual. Now, in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, they have a banishing rite which I've uploaded performing in my previous videos. You use it to basically clear your mind and get into a space whereby you feel protected, and then you can after performing that banishing rite, you can move in to summoning the spirits. So let me show you how. Let me find the sigil. Okay, I'll find the ones that I used to use when I was in the Luciferian path. So this is the sigil for Nahimoth. Nahimoth is a demoness or a succubus. So Nahimoth, summoning Nahimoth, I would want a muse to attract a muse or to attract a succubus to have sex with in my dreams. Nice. So what I would basically do, I'd find a quiet place. After finding a quiet place, I'd confess my sins. I sometimes, okay, let me confess my sins. I sometimes feel anxious. I'm sometimes insecure of myself. I sometimes lose temper and I sometimes prejudge people and I project my shortcomings onto people. Step three, finding my power. Even though I have those shortcomings, I still realize my power in the universe. I realize the power to make changes in the universe. I also know that the universe follows my orders indiscriminately of whatever shortcomings I might have, which puts me higher than the universe. I'm actually higher, I'm more powerful. I'm not the shortcomings that I have in this physical body. I have the power to make change. I have the power to command the universe to make change. That's finding my power. And then the word of power that I like to use. In the name of Adonai, or you can say, in the name of Jesus, I call on the spirit Nahimoth. And then the spirit listens to you. You grab the spirit's attention. After grabbing the spirit's attention, you gaze at the sigil. Which part of the sigil are you gazing in? This is the most important part. Those weird kind of shapes, that's where you gaze into. After gazing into it, you say mentally what you want and then your intent. You say it out. You say it mentally to the spirit. After saying it mentally, you've obviously established an intent for your ritual. Then step four, you call out to the spirit until you sense presence. Nahimoth, 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 Nahimoth. When you call the spirit, make sure that it feels like you're calling somebody from the next room. Like if you want to call Arsonist Fire, you wouldn't say Arsonist Fire, Arsonist Fire, Arsonist Fire, Arsonist Fire. You would instead say Arsonist Fire, Arsonist Fire, Arsonist Fire. You calling me. This is how you call the spirit. Sometimes you have your intuition telling you, even before the spirit, even before calling the spirit, you have your intuition telling you, Nahimoth is already here. That stupid kind of thought that passes through, you have to respect it. After having that intuition, after sensing presence, I taught you how to sense presence in my previous video, which was called Thought is Actually Spirit. Sometimes you sense the spirit here, sometimes those kind of thoughts come. Immediately after feeling those sensations, feeling the spirit's presence, you tell it what you want. Nahimoth, I ask, or you can say, Nahimoth, find me a muse, find me a succubus with whom I want to enjoy the most sexual things. Your state, whatever your command to the spirit, it has to be at least two sentences. It starts like Nahimoth, this. If the spirit's name is Arsenis Fire, I want you to make a new live stream YouTube. Done. After doing that, Arsenis Fire, I've brought you an offering to thank you for manifesting my result. Thank you. You burn the offering, and then it goes forth to the spirit. Immediately after the offering burns, you, you leave the ritual. Now, here's a very, 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 very nice part. After sensing the spirit, when you continue telling it what you want, sometimes you in the state of mind whereby you don't feel any changes in the room. But when you speak to it after sensing the presence, it does wonders, guys. Like you feel dizzy, you feel you go in some sort of trance. So that's what proves to you that you established contact. So now this is how I call spirits using sigils. This is how I deal with the spirits from which pantheon. Okay, I use the Goetia, the 72 demons of of Goetia. That's how I summon my spirits. Whenever I want to to call the spirits of the Necronomicon, I use that method. Whenever I want to call the angels, I use that method. And what? Basically, any spirit that you can call using sigils, servitors, thought forms, egregores, uh, the druge. Okay, I've never summoned the gene with sigils. So now, one of the most interesting parts are the gene and how to summon the gene. There's two books that I've read on the gene. One by Bal Cadmon, the second by Cohen Hargrove. So these books, they don't provide sigils for the gene. Basically, each and every day of the week has a ruling king of the gene. So by summoning that king of the gene, you actually can ask for that gene king to summon forth a servant of theirs to actually listen to your requests and manifest your results. So now, when working with the gene, you don't actually command the gene like you command angels and demons, like arsonist fire. Do this for me. I command you to do this for me. You don't approach the gene that way. Why you don't approach the gene that way? The jinn have free will. They they are more like us humans, but they are spirits. They actually have societies. They actually have hierarchies. They have aristocracy. They actually have a civilization. So they also have free will. If you choose to approach them disrespectfully, that's what they say. If you disrespect the jinn, they will either mess you up or they will either ignore your commands, which is useless. Imagine doing a ritual to be ignored. So that's not how you approach the jinn. When you approach the jinn, your statement should be you should first address the king, the jinn king. After addressing the jinn king, you actually ask him, I ask that you. That's how you phrase your requests to the jinn. You don't command them. So they say that the jinn are dangerous. They haunt. I've watched, I've listened to podcasts whereby people say that the jinn haunted them and they experienced some terrible results while working with the jinn. This is due to the jinn's nature to be rebellious. Picture the jinn as some rebellious teenager who doesn't want to be told what to do. I've listened to a podcast by Arabic High Magic. This guy, he had a pact with the Jinn Queen, so he basically tells us his testimonials about the Jinn. There's also a video that I've watched about a guy basically telling us the powers of the jinn. They can apparently possess you, they are dangerous, and they have power to work magic like wonders, like the mythical jinn in the golden kettle. So they actually perform miracles. I've had experiences whereby I've manifested results within the next day using the jinn, working with the jinn. So they have that power to bend reality. In this other podcast, there was a kid who used to go to, okay, it was in India. Obviously, in India, you have Muslims and you have Hindus, Sindhus. So the jinn are basically from the Islamic pantheon. So there was this kid who used to pray to the jinn every day, going to the jinn, asking the jinn to change his life because that kid was in a bad space. He was homeless and he didn't have food. His life was basically that of an impoverished pauper. So he went to ask the jinn, and there was some white guy, American guy from America who happened to notice this young man going to, is it a young man or is it a teen, whatever, who noticed him going to make these requests to the jinn. After a few months or weeks, I can't remember, he asks another one of the boys that were homeless, that were actually going to request with the very same homeless kid some requests from the jinn, who used to basically go together. So he asks this boy, what happened to the other kid, the one that was homeless? Guess what was the answer? The jinn answered his requests. The kid was now living in America. He was now living in luxury, a lavish lifestyle, and he was actually enjoying life, and he was far, 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 far from being impoverished. And he didn't actually have evidence of his background. So that's as far as I know about the jinn. I know that they are powerful. They say that they are dangerous because they can't be controlled. I have had no such experiences with the jinn. I haven't experienced any hauntings with the jinn. I've yet to use the sigil method. I'll go deeply into this and research where I can find sigils for jinn kings and stuff. There's a book that I've uploaded the link to in the previous video where I show you the banishing ritual. That book has few jinn sigils. I'll have to go back to it because I see I see power in the gym. The guy from the channel that I was talking about, the podcast, he said that he was working with Jin last year and he had money even throughout COVID lockdown. So it shows you the power of the Jin. Oh, I have experiences with the Jin in regards to money. Last year, obviously, there was COVID, so we were selling products, certain health products. We couldn't go out no more, so we had no cash flow, basically. So I did an experiment using the book Practical Gene Magic by Cohen Hargrove. So there's a ritual that you perform on Thursday. Thursday is the day of Jupiter, where you can make requests for wealth, expansion, liberation, and actually increasing or growing. Okay. So I performed the ritual for untamed riches, but this time I wasn't asking the riches for myself. I actually asked for my mother. Strange things happened. My boyfriend, my sister's boyfriend, basically works a high paying job and he has money. So out of nowhere, listen, this is what he did. He decided to buy us a goat. One goat for him, one goat for us. We slaughtered the goat. He gave my mom 10K in rent. I wish she doesn't see this. So he gave my mom 10K and we were able to live, but she misused it. But those are the results that I got from making that experiment. I've also made an experiment myself using the gene. Uh, I've noticed that I had so many business ideas in my mind and I actually made little money because by then I wasn't even hustling, but I was able to raise a certain amount of cash flow and the ritual lasts for 3 months. Like for 3 months you live in abundance, basically you do have money. Like it's so nice. I must try it again. I must try it again. So that's the nice part about the gene. I also have an experience whereby I used it for sex. The results were powerful, satisfactory. I used it also for fame. What else? But sometimes they don't work, sometimes they do work. It doesn't work 100% of the time. It's always the case. It's like so even with other forms of magic. So what else do I have to cover? Okay, working with the spirits of the Hindu pantheon. These spirits are called deities. They are not called demons, angels. They are called deities. Basically, no, not deities. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. These are not deities. Deities are the ones like what's the name again? I think it's Ishtar from the Necronomicon or Astarte. So, somewhere there, those are deities. These are actually called god forms. These ones and the guys from Egypt, these are called god forms. Now, these guys you can't summon by using a sigil. These are god forms. They vibrate at a much higher level and they manifest results. They don't manifest results as fast as the angels, the demons, and the jinn. Why? Because these guys, they actually work in a truthful way or they know what's best for you. I'd like to think they know what's best for you. They operate at a much higher vibration, so their results are much slower, but their energy is much stronger. And what else? Basically, they vibrate at a much higher level of vibration. So how do you work with these guys? Okay, these guys, the best way to work with these guys I've experienced is with mantras. You can also meditate on them. You can also, what else? You can also give offerings, like in some sort of ancestral worship. You can approach them that way. But the best way I've experienced is with mantras. What I basically do is this: I find a picture and I research about a certain deity or god form, a god form, a god form that I want to work with. In this case, it's Hanuman, the Lord of stamina, strength, devotion, and what else? Discipline. So I research, I find him, I use his picture as a focus point or a focal point. What do I do then? I approach Hanuman in a prayer form, like I ask him, Hanuman, can you please give me strength, grant me discipline, and help me master yoga asanas and help me master my own body. Give me the courage and energy to do so. And then after asking for those things, I actually chant the mantra. Each and every god form has its mantra, BG mantra. So in this case, we're using Hanuman. It's Om Hanumate Namaha. So chanting Om Hanumate Namaha 108 times, you would require this, which is what? Jap Mala. Jap is another word for chant. It's an it's a Sanskrit word basically for chant. So you chant 108 times. You can also chant it 1080 times. The more you chant the mantra, the more you actually you it's like you're multiplying the energy of the mantra, you're pushing the results to work much faster. And the more you chant it, you actually become that mantra, you actually become a master of that mantra. In future, when you've chanted it a certain number of times, in future you can just chant it 108 times and see remarkable results, and you become a siddha. There's a whole science of siddhi using mantras. You can actually do anything you can imagine with mantras. Like for the mantra Om, you can achieve all the minor the minor siddhis, which are what? You can achieve levitation, heaviness, knowledge of the past, present, and the future. You can open up your psychic energy. Yatha Sankalpa Samsiddhihi. What is Yatha Sankalpa Samsiddhihi? Meaning having the power to fulfill your desires. And what else? Basically, there's a lot that you can do with mantras. It's actually very powerful. I've also experienced the power of mantras. Ever since I've started chanting mantras, I never lack for money. The gods make sure that I have money. And there's certain things that I notice within myself that I honestly couldn't do 2 years ago. I can practice yoga, I can do asanas pretty well. I can also perform things that I wasn't able to perform previously, and I would say I've made progress more than the average person. So I think I've discussed what I wanted to discuss with you guys. What else again? I wanted to do what did I want to do? Oh, okay. My experience with demons. I've also summoned demons in the same way. Now the demons, I like them because they work faster than the angels. They are more like the jinn, but they are more obliged to work, I'd like to think. So there's a demon that I like working with. I think he's also corresponding to the energy of Jupiter. His name is Suntal Ok. I got his sigil from watching J.S. Garrett's videos. J.S. Garrett is another of the left-hand practitioners from America that I basically like listening to. He got the sigil from E.A. Coeding's books, which is another left-hand practitioner. Basically, Suntal Ok is from the empire of Azazel. He built the empire out of nothing. Now, what I've experienced working with Suntal Ok, I mean, man, that's a dope spirit. I've experienced that whenever I work with Suntal Ok, let's say maybe I ask for wealth and prestige. There's a wealth and prestige right that he has on his channel that shows you how to perform to basically perform wealth and prestige right to gain wealth and prestige. So what I've experienced is you actually want to expand. You have ideas that come into your mind about how you could take whatever that you're using to live and grow it into something much bigger. You actually want to grow. Like with my experience when I did the ritual, in everything that you do basically after waking with that spirit, you want to grow and expand and liberate yourself. You actually want to break boundaries. He's more like Ganesha. Why would I say he relates to the planet of Jupiter? Basically, he makes you feel what you feel whenever you are working with Jupiter. Jupiter is all about liberation, expansion, and growth. So this ritual, I performed it. I had certain ideas on how to grow my channel, how to grow myself, basically my brand, how to grow my money, basically. And I've used some of the advice that I gotten from it, but also it challenges you to break your limiting beliefs. You also break the mental boundaries that you grew up under, the condition that you grew up under. You break it. I went into a fight with my mother. Why did I go into a fight with my mother? Okay, there's a ritual that I did, a sigil that I did for sex. Okay, it attracted a lady that wasn't suitable for me. So now, I even think if she was suitable for me, my mother would have still reacted that way. So, man, growing under programming, your mother still sees you as her kid, man. So now she doesn't want to let go of the fact that you've grown up. You have to go out and explore. So now I do this ritual. This female comes, seduces me. I have sex with her. So my mother doesn't like it. While doing this ritual, I noticed that it's a pattern that I don't like. I grew up under my mother's advice, under the society's advice, under programming and everybody else's advice. And I grew up into something I do not like. I'm not in a position whereby I would have desired to be in when I was a child. I basically reacted to circumstances to a point whereby I turned into whatever I turned into. So seeing those patterns, seeing the conditioning that I grew up under, seeing that I didn't like where it led me with my life and destiny, I started to want to fight, to liberate myself. So I fought with my mother. I went and had sex with this female. I Whatever that they were trying to keep me from doing, whatever that they were restricting me from, I went full force into it because it felt like liberation. It felt like I've broken down the self-limiting ideas. Like it shows you a lot of things about yourself, this ritual when you perform it. So I give thanks to the guy who publicized this spirit. So with demons, what kind of offerings do they like? They like blood, they like semen, they like fingernails, they like hair. So the one that likes hair more is Lilith. Why does Lilith like hair and fingernails? It is said in the book by Michael Ford, which is called what? The Bible of the Adversary. It is said that Lilith uses your hair and your fingernails actually create more succubi and incubi, meaning create more demons out of those things. So when you offer such things to Lilith, the spirit appreciates it, and then manifests your desires and whatever that you ask for. So I've also tried it with other demons like C3 from the demons of Croatia. I've also tried it with Suntal. They like it and they have wonderful results. I still want to try the one of offering chicken, killing the chicken, animal sacrifice. I know there's people who do not like animal sacrifices and stuff. But remember what I said in the beginning of this live. I said it's not about the actual thing or the gruesomeness of the cruelty of animals and stuff. It's about raising that energy, pairing it with your thought, creating a strong thought wave and intent to actually make what? Change in the universe. So I give thanks. I'll try to explain more about the animal sacrifice thing as an art, and please do not see it as animal cruelty. I do not advocate for animal cruelty, and please don't say that I do advocate for such things, making me lose my YouTube channel, my struggling YouTube channel. So thanks for listening to me and streaming my live video. I see you guys listening to me. Namaskara, and I hope you gain from this channel. I hope you learn from the techniques that I've given you today. And what else do I need to show you? Okay, whatever that I need to cover, I'll cover in the next video, whereby I'll explain the things that I feel I've not explained in this video. Thank you guys. Namaskara.